4,600 years ago, long before the Roman Empire or the ancient Greeks, a civilization stacked over 2 million stone blocks into a perfect 481-foot mountain. The engine driving this was a narrow ribbon of green cutting through the hostile North African desert, the Nile River. The annual floods and rich soil provided immense prosperity, giving rise to a highly organized society, governed by a pharaoh, a ruler viewed not as a man, but as a living god preparing for a transition into eternity. The mastermind behind the largest stone structure ever built was Pharaoh Khufu, and in a remarkable twist of history, the only known physical representation we have of him is exactly what you see here, a tiny 3-inch ivory statuette found in 1903. Khufu didn't build his masterpiece from scratch. He inherited an iterative engineering process from his father, Sneferu. You can see the trial and error approach in structures like the bent pyramid, where the sudden, awkward change in slope angle halfway up reveals early engineers adjusting their math on the fly to prevent a total collapse. This diagram illustrates the staggering scale of Khufu's final blueprint. The base of his pyramid covers 13 acres, roughly 10 American football fields. Yet, across that massive expanse, the bedrock is leveled to within 2.1 centimeters of absolute flatness. Even more surprising is its orientation. The 4 sides of this immense footprint align perfectly with the 4 cardinal directions, deviating from true north by just 0.05 degrees. They leveled 13 acres of solid rock to less than an inch of variance, without laser levels or modern surveying equipment. These numbers reflect an unforgiving, obsessive mastery of mathematics and spatial geometry. For centuries, people assumed this massive volume of stone required forced labor. But excavations in the 1990s uncovered an entire worker city near the plateau. Skeletal remains found at the site showed these were paid craftsmen who received bone surgeries and care. The state organized roughly 30,000 highly skilled laborers who took immense pride in their work. This 3D model shows the main logistical hurdle, overcoming gravity. The common theory involved a single straight ramp hauling stones upward, but a ramp that tall requires more material than the pyramid itself. Instead, architect Jean-Pierre Houdin proposed an elegant solution, a hidden internal spiral pathway winding upward through the stone. We also know exactly how they moved the heaviest blocks up steep inclines. In 2018, archaeologists at the Hatnib Quarry discovered the remains of a hauling system. By pouring water over sand directly in front of a wooden sledge, the workers radically reduced friction, allowing a small team to glide multi-ton stones upward. Moving millions of stones over 20 years was the result of extreme logistical organization, practical physics, and immense human effort. Step inside the structure, and the engineering becomes even more deliberate. The pyramid is a complex network of highly specialized passages and shafts. Ascend deep into the interior, and you enter the Grand Gallery. Its massive stone walls lean inward as they rise. This corbelled arch design is entirely self-supporting, creating a space 26 feet high, capable of bearing the crushing pressure from the millions of blocks above. At the top of the gallery sits the King's Chamber, built entirely from red Aswan granite. The sarcophagus inside is actually wider than the doorway leading into the room. The builders had to place it exactly in position while the pyramid was still under construction, then literally build the walls around it. This cross-section shows the ingenious method used to protect that chamber from the enormous weight of the apex. Engineers stacked a series of flat granite slabs above the room, creating empty voids. These stress-relieving chambers safely channel the crushing downward force out to the sides, preventing a ceiling collapse. Even with all our modern knowledge, the structure continues to reveal new features. In 2017, the Scan Pyramids project aimed particle physics equipment at the plateau, using muon tomography to look through the solid rock. What they detected stunned the world. Right above the Grand Gallery lies a massive, undocumented empty space. We still do not know what this void is for. After centuries of intense study and extensive looting, the internal architecture is so complex that it remains an active frontier for modern science. The rugged, stepped exterior we see today is actually just the skeleton. Originally, the entire monument was encased in perfectly smooth, blinding white Tura limestone. It was polished to a mirror finish, designed to catch the North African sun and blaze like a star on the horizon. Long after those casing stones were stripped away, the monument remained. It watched Alexander the Great conquer Egypt. It stood silently as Julius Caesar walked the plateau, and it cast a long shadow over Napoleon's army. It continues to pose questions we struggle to answer. Divide the pyramid's base perimeter by twice its height, and you get a figure remarkably close to 3.14159, the mathematical constant pi. We still debate whether this was an intentional stroke of genius or simply a byproduct of measuring distances with a rolling wheel. The Great Pyramid is a message sent across 46 centuries. It proves that when human ambition is highly organized and sustained, it leaves a mark on the earth that outlasts empires. Khufu set out to build an engine for eternity.